How's it going? Facebook, YouTube, I mean. All my fantastic 250 subscribers. I thank you so much for your subscription. So just trying to make more videos. This is the second video of kind of this whole experiment of mine to do Photoshop videos with just like some workflow and just talk about Photoshop and some of the different kinds of projects that I do. So this is a Amazon KDP, I'm kind of making this up as I go, tutorial about how to use Photoshop to lay out your book on Amazon, because Amazon talks a lot about when I was in there like doing their tutorials, it's all Word, Microsoft Word, and some other stuff that I don't use, and which is probably great for actual book, but I do more like kind of project books and photography books. So in that case, I find Photoshop is just a lot more easier for me to work with because I use Photoshop so much. And if you're one of those people that use Photoshop for all your other projects and you want to get into publishing, I will show you how I do at least 8.5 by 11 books, which is just kind of my favorite size. It's like the biggest book that they publish, and I think it's just what I've liked. I think when you hand it off to somebody, for me and the type of books that I make, the bigger the better, personally. So I haven't run into any problem with pricing yet. So like these books can be made for pretty cheap, and you can have pretty reasonable profit margins and stuff like that. So even though I haven't really made too many for profit yet either. So maybe we'll talk about that later or whatever. But so right here we're looking at we're just going to kind of touch on the templates that I've made for this, because Amazon doesn't really provide a Photoshop template. It's just measurements, and you got to make the most of it, and just kind of some trial and error. And I can show you some ways to kind of refine that trial and error process to get your template accurate. So these are two artboards that I use for the inside pages, because the inside pages are definitely more complicated than the cover. So the inside pages, page 1 and 2, even on the left, odd on the right, because just the way that the books are put together and printed. So here I have the first and the last page of this particular book that I'm making for my daughter. The one on the page 30 on the left is the last page, because if you're turning the book to the last page, it'll be printed on the left hand side of the sheet. So that's why it's on the left, and then the first page of the book will be on the first page, and that will be printed on the right. And I'm not 100% sure about all of the technicalities of that, but this is definitely 100% the way that you need to do it in this, the way that I do it, for sure. So this is page 1 right here, and I save these in PSD. Oh man, I'm telling you, whenever I start recording, things get all slow. Okay, so I got it labeled as 30 and 01. Those are the pages, and if you can look up here, I've got all the other pages, everything numbered the same. And I use numbers to keep them in order, so it's just easier workflow to go back. I know which page it is, and it's kind of a bit of a process to take them from the PSD down to the JPEG that has the format that it has to be in, because you got to split it up into the two different sheets of paper, which is a little bit of a process, and it's definitely trial and error. Like, nobody showed me how to do this. This is just how I came up with, and I've published like 80 books or something like that, doing it like this. So it's a pretty easy process, a little bit complicated, not really. Once you do it one time, it's not that difficult. And it has to be fast, because just like I said on my previous video, everything that I do is meant to be done extremely fast, and I don't like to spend a bunch of time on stuff that creative, isn't the creative part. This is just the, I wish, you could use the commands where you can do, I'm not even sure the right term, it's not coming to me, but where Photoshop just will automatically do it for you. Write a script for it, which I do have scripts for other things, but for this one it's just a bit too complicated, I guess, to make a script for it. Maybe I should, I don't know, but I haven't. So that's how I do that. I'm going to resave this, and I keep the Photoshop documents, unless it's a really big book, like I've made like 200-page books, and having the Photoshop documents for all that, you're gonna have to have a ton of storage, because these are big documents, especially if these are big project files, especially if you have photos and you have a bunch of layers in there, which you will create a bunch of layers. So you gotta have a lot of storage. I have 2 terabyte hard drives, and I've got like 8 of them, I think, right now. I keep 4 of them hooked up, and then I got 2 terabytes on one memory card inside my computer, and then another terabyte just for operations of the computer. So it definitely takes a lot of memory, but if you make a mistake and you don't have the PSD files, like sometimes your numbering gets out of order, man, that can be a nightmare to go back and have to edit each number if they're not in Photoshop document style still. So I just grin and bear it, and just know that I'm have to use the space, and that these are big projects, complicated projects, and they're worth the space. So it's just something you're gonna have to kind of work around. And you can do it the other way. I did the other way for a long time, but this is definitely a lot safer, and save you time in the long run. But so it's a bit of a process. I haven't, the new Photoshop 24, whatever it is, I think it's 24, does not allow you to do PDF presentations like this. So I'm trying to see which one I'm on. I think I'm on like 22.4 or 23.4 or something like that. Let's get right into it. So from here we're gonna use Photoshop with the pages that I've already created. This project's ready to just be put into Amazon KDP. So I'm not going to go through how I made each individual page or anything like that unless I get sidetracked. And that can be different videos. This is just like completing the project in Photoshop and publishing it on Amazon KDP. And I know this is going to be beneficial for somebody out there. I don't know or think if anybody else is doing this. I haven't seen any videos, so this is like a first video, kind of a new thing, I think, for YouTube. Here goes my Creative Cloud, going super slow. Okay, so you got to get rid of the lines, okay? I do Control-Alt-Q to get rid of the lines. Okay, now look over here. Like, this isn't the best way, or you definitely want to have that as many of these folders. Just makes it easier. Okay, so I got to get rid of Artboard 1, which is on the right and not the left. It's kind of counterproductive. Okay, because when you save the JPEG, if you have both of them open, it saves both of them side by side, and you don't want that. You just want the single page saved alone. Okay, so then I flatten it, Control F. Now it can be saved into JPEG. Control S. This is page 30. I want it to be a JPEG 12 maximum quality. I go Control Z twice. Okay, now I need everything in Artboard 1 to be on Artboard 2. So I highly recommend that when you do this, you have a solid back layer, because if any of this is transparent over here, the underlying page is going to show up on it. And that's happened to me a couple times, and it just is really kind of a pain in the butt, because sometimes you don't notice until you got the book printed, and that's can be troublesome. So I select all these, not the entire board, like just the contents, okay? And if you just slide it down, I got this labeled a little bit misrepresenting. This will put it, if you take it down and put it right on top of there, like, it will totally cover. It'll automatically put it on top of the other page, which when you start doing this really fast, I'm trying to do it slow and explain it as best I can right now. It's real. I mean, that's going to be really important because you're going to have to do this 30 times. And if you got a book that's 200 pages, you're going to be doing this a lot. So you got to be quick, have your techniques down. I just drag and drop the first one. You don't have to double click it. Bam. Flatten it. Save it. Page 1. Okay. Now I just X out of it, or I just Control W right out of this. Okay, this is another one I don't need. That was a rough draft. Okay, now I Control Alt open, but I don't think my Photoshop and my bridge. Okay, good. See, this is how I have all of my books. This is book 89, so I've got 89 books. Okay, I got all the art book PSDs. Like, this is all of my pages in art book form. So once I save them to JPEGs, I'll let them accumulate in here, just so I can look at them as I'm saving them. It's just something I kind of like. Until when I'm saving them, they start to fill up and I can't see the current page that I'm saving. You'll see that, and then I move them over to my JPEGs for book. So this is just a process these are just folders and a workflow that works for me. And I didn't learn this from anybody, so it's just kind of the way that I do it. So you can take it and run with it probably. Okay, so this is just the workflow that I have set up, and take it and run with it. Develop it. This is content. On this one I didn't have much. On older books that I've made, sometimes this fills up with, if I'm making unique content, if I'm making unique Photoshop projects specifically just for this book, then I'll put this stuff, I'll put it in here. If there's some specific photos that I download or something like that, or just random things that I need for the book that are just for this book and not anything I would need anywhere else. The Kdb Finals, this is where I put the Photoshop, or this is where I put the PDF presentation finals right here, and these go from here, it goes straight to Amazon KDP downloaded, as the content for the book. We'll get to that point shortly here. This is the cover of the book. Oh sheesh, we need to go in there and do this real quick. So let's just go to the cover real quick. So same here for PDF. I don't know, I've never had those guidelines show up on a print, but supposedly they say it can happen. So I just take them off because I don't like to have them on there anyway. Like when I go back in to look at it, in certain formats, I don't like to have them on there, like JPEG or PDF. I don't even like to see them, so I take those off. Okay, flatten it, save it. This needs to be the PDF, so I put PDF just so I don't get them confused with JPEGs. I get a bunch of stuff in there. You want this to be all the highest resolution. I don't preserve detail or Photoshop editing capabilities. There we go. Okay, so I also save these for when I put them onto my website and stuff. I need these sometimes, like in a JPEG form, or sharing them with people, post them on social media. Looks like I already had the front, so I'm going to do the back. Okay, just marquee that, and then I crop it. Let's see, and that's what happens when you don't flatten it. Sometimes everything goes slower. I won't save this one in a full, because I mean, I doubt I'd ever print that. I don't know if I ever got around to like wanting to print some of these covers as like a, you know, I don't know, like a, I don't know, maybe sometime I would need to print these or something. I keep a full resolution copy and a internet low resolution copy. So I got the PDF. That's what I'm going to need for Amazon KDP. So let's get back to, see, and I mean, just like making covers especially, like, is so much more fun in Photoshop. I'm not saying that I'm like anything special at it, but like this is definitely what sets you apart as somebody that knows how to work Photoshop. If you want to do like some publishing things and be wanting to do like book covers, you could just do a book cover business, and like there are people that just buy somebody to design the book covers. If you think that you're especially good at it, or it's something that you do for fun, or something you just like to do, then that's definitely something that you could do. And knowing Photoshop and knowing the process of Amazon would be greatly beneficial in helping out whoever it is that you're doing the job for. So we're gonna go back to the art books. This is the way that I do it. Okay, I made this kind of home page, scratch page right here with all the information about the book, so I can keep it consistent, because I made this book. Sometimes I sit down and I just drill out one book all the way through, but this is kind of like a branding card for this particular book, you know, like got the fonts, the sizes, the bold, whatever it is, the colors, and how much Gaussian blur for the background and stuff. So this is kind of like the template, so I can go back, because I did this project over like 2 months or something like that, so I definitely wouldn't have remembered it all, and it's just makes things a lot easier. So that's a good tip right there for you. If you're not familiar with some types of branding or whatever, make like a branding card so you got all the information there for you easily to go back and reference. Okay, so I get rid of the lines, erase that art book, flatten, save. It's page 2. 12, make sure that's all right. Back up twice, bring it down, erase, flatten. 03, the JPEG's already there. Bam, I just erase it, so I don't have to worry about any information about when you it won't ask you any more questions like do you want to save it or anything, because this is all about just quickness. Okay, if you get rid of the guidelines first, then when you save the next one, when you go to save, like in this case, page 5, you won't have to erase the guidelines again. They'll already be erased. You definitely don't want to, got to make sure that you don't save it as a PDF or as a Photoshop document, because it'll be flattened in one page, so you won't even be able to use it. So that could be a mistake that I've made, that you might make. Hopefully you don't, now that I told you. So here we go. I'm just going to kind of shut up here. Just get into the rhythm, show you guys kind of what I do. See, I always know what page it is because of the way that I saved the project file. Each individual click, you know, like I think of it as wasted time, so I don't try not to even do any extra clicks. And I'm still talking. I'm still getting used to talking and working, so. See, I didn't even remember what page it was. Luckily I had that saved as 0809, so I know this page is going to be 9 and the previous page was 8. It's already a JPEG. So this is just a ton. I mean, this is a ton. This is book number 89, so I've had a lot of practice at this, but there's no videos as far as I know that were really able to help me. So these are going to be the first videos as far as I know, unless there's some obscure videos from some obscure YouTuber that I haven't seen yet and didn't show up in the search. So it's kind of cool. Hopefully this will give you guys an idea just of what it takes to make a you can use a book. You can use Photoshop to make books publish books. And for me, it's kind of the only way that I would do it. But like I said, we're going to get to a step up here in a second where Photoshop does not allow you to do this anymore. Oops, I did something wrong here. Oh, I got some of these. Some of those were locked just to help me. So I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it as a Photoshop document with those unlocked, just in case I have to come back and do it. That just slowed me down, you know. And that little bit of time, I swear, it means something to me. Maybe not to you, but that's just like the kind of stress and just pressure that I put on myself to get as much done as possible, as quick as possible. And just those extra little steps, man, on a big project can add up to hours. It can literally rob you of hours in your workday. And I definitely do like 24-hour days. Sitting here on Photoshop. That I am not. That is not over beyond me to do that level of time. See, and if some of these, like, you should save them with your folders closed, so you don't have to scroll, you know. See, I got something. It's not letting me erase it. It's not letting me. Dang it, these two. Watch, see, I need to save that again. Don't do it without the guidelines either. Screw it. But see, like I said, this is a project that I've been doing over the past couple of months, so I kind of jump back in without knowing where some of these previous pages how they were standing. And this just goes to show you want to be thorough and do have the same procedures, the same system for everything that you do, so that when you come back to a project later, see, look at that. When you come back to a project later, it's exactly you did it the exact same. There's less surprises, right? Oh, see, what an idiot. What a dum-dum. Okay. See, this is the way it should have been saved right here. This is the way it should have been saved. This doesn't matter right here because you're going to just stack on top of it. I guess you got to scroll down here to... No, you don't even. Like, it doesn't even matter. The second page doesn't really matter. But, you'll say how you save it. If you save it with the folders open, it saves with the folders open. If you save with the closed, you save them with them closed. Okay. See, now, like, Photoshop does have the ability to, you can set up this as an action where you could probably get this to be just an action and just run an action. You guys see, look, that's what happens if you don't just immediately close the file. It'll ask you to, if you want to save it again. Okay, so look up here in Windows, actions. You probably could create a new action to do all this for you. I'm not going to mess with it right now, but you probably could. But maybe I want to say that I tried it one time and it didn't work for me. I don't see why it wouldn't work though. Now looking at it, maybe I just... At the time, I probably didn't have the patience for it, just like I don't have the patience for it now and didn't really give it a chance. Got my book over here. Messing with me. See, Photoshop didn't used to have to flatten that image down to flatten. you could save a JPEG even with all the different layers. Oh my gosh. See, look how much time that's saving me, or how much time that's killing me. It's when I tell my son, the you of the past. You're not angry at me, or you're angry at the you of the past. The you of the past didn't do what he needed to do to help up the you of the future. That's exactly what's happening here. If I would have just had some foresight to what I know I needed to do. All these extra steps I'm having to do now. See, so I'm very, like, I don't F around with how fast I do things. So that might be different than you. That might be completely different than you. That might be something you don't even think about. Maybe you do need to think about it. Maybe you don't care about thinking about it. But I definitely think about it. How fast am I going to be able to do this? How fast am I going to be able to get these processes down? Save you tons of time. One picture, like I was talking about, I do real estate photography. If you got to do 40 pictures, man, if you spend 1 minute, 1 extra minute, man, 1 extra minute on 40 photos is an extra 40 minutes. It's an extra 40 minutes. 1 minute extra on each photo. That's how it adds up. That's how quick it adds up. It's crazy. It is crazy, man. So that's what you have to think about. That's the kind of, it's just not something that I heard on many YouTube videos. You know what I mean? Talking about workflow like that. Maybe so. I don't think it's not like a topic that most photographers would look up when wanting to learn about Photoshop or photography. It may not even be something that you think about. But I'm telling you, like I said, that one experience that I share on with a lot of people is just watching my mentor Glenn Johnson. Just watching him work on the computer, not asking him any questions or anything, just watching him was super helpful and instrumental, because you wonder what sets you apart from other photographers out there, other than just looking at their pictures, like what kind of person are they, or what kind of customer service do they have, how do they talk to their models, how do they talk to their subjects, like what clothes they wear, like how nice they dress. There's just all kinds of things that are just non-photography related, but have everything to do with like the business of photography. If that's something you even care about, maybe you're confident enough to just do your own thing and not think about it, not even care about how you might be able to do something better or something. I don't know. That's definitely not me. I try to learn from other people as much as possible, because I know what I do is going to be unique anyway. Nobody fabricates something brand new out of thin air. It's always somebody else's. There has inspiration from somebody or something else outside of you that allows you to come up with it. So, okay, that's it. So I go over here, all my JPEGs, 30-page book. Guess you could do Alt-A, select all, bring them over to JPEGs for the book. This is all just me. This is not anything that they tell you to do on Amazon. This is all just how I do it. Okay. So you got them all there. They're all in order, which order by number, which is just important for every step. Okay, so scripts, this is still, you can still do this on the next Photoshop from what I've seen. I don't know, what am I doing? That's not even what I'm doing. So here's what you cannot do. File, automate, PDF presentation, because this is the file format that Amazon KDP asks you to put it in. So however you do it on Word document, or other than that, I don't know how to do it. I just know how to do it on Photoshop. Because this is how I make the books. Okay, I select them all, open them. Now look, they're not in order over here. Okay, so you need them to be in order, so you sort them by name, and that's where it comes in handy again. Okay, we're going to save this as a multi-page document. A presentation is more like if you were doing a presentation on PowerPoint or something like that. Save it. This is kind of annoying. It always goes. You can kind of see how I got these. And then to label it, I just bracelets, KDP. I don't know why I always put KDP, but I do. 1.0, just in case I go and proof it and there's mistakes. I'm going to do a 2.0 and so on and so on. So right here, this is, I'll go over this here. I'm not going to need this for this particular book, but like for 200-page books, I use full resolution images in the documents, so like the files are pretty big. And this is the presentation is 20 pages, so 28 by 10s basically stacked on top of each other, so it's like a 220 megabyte project, and that's around where the cutoff is for KDP. So if you don't compress these like that it's like a 1.6 gig file, so that's way too huge. But I played with this a ton of different ways. If you go over here and just go for everything else full resolution, high quality print, and just take this down to high, like that will drop. That has been enough, except for maybe one time I went to medium, but high was enough to bring it down within the requirements of KDP just in that one setting. And I've gone down to medium, guys, and I've used images that I've downloaded that were old phone photos, so they were like 200 KB, you know what I mean? And like they still print really well. Like there's, I don't know, maybe I don't know what it is, maybe about printers or whatever now, but like you don't need gigantic files to hold resolution from anything that I've seen anymore. And I'm talking like even 24 by 36 posters that I've done with Facebook downloaded phone pictures, and I'm talking not pre iPhone 11, like iPhone 7, iPhone 6 images, and I've blown them up to 24 by 36, and then they're like not even mentionable, like nothing worth mentioning, loss of quality. Like it's pretty remarkable. So I almost would do this just to save time, like save loading time, but I'm not going to for whatever old-headed superstition, or I don't even know, just in case. But I've definitely gone down that low and been perfectly happy with the results. Okay, so sometimes, man, looking at the screen, good grief. I got these glasses, which works, but then they mess up the colors, and I'm already colorblind, so using these glasses sometimes throws me off and I can't use them. But how this flashes, man, this ain't good for your eyes. I don't know what it's doing scientifically, but I know it ain't good for your eyes. Okay, so now in Kdb Finals, I got it right here. Okay, You can look through your book. So you can proof it right here. Make sure all your numbers are right? Because this will load, once you get to KDP, the software, it's going to load really slow. So you might as well make sure that you got the numbers right over here. Because you got KDP, like I've done books without page numbers, but that sometimes they kick it back and sometimes they don't. Like some things they kick back and sometimes some things they don't, and they'll do it different every time. So coming up with some way to make the page numbers clear on each page, come up with that early, and then get it consistent on each one of your pages, or however you want to do it. That's what I did. Like I don't mind the look of that, and I can change the font and colors of this pretty easily project to project, but that's the same template format that I use for all of my books. So instead of trying to, because it'll take up to 48 hours usually for Amazon to proof your book. So then if it doesn't pass the proof the first time, you got to do it a second time, and it's another 2 days. So bump all that. That's too frustrating for me. Let's see if I can do this without you guys seeing too many of my passwords or anything important. But we're just gonna get on to Amazon KDP now. Hopefully it just straight uploads. Oh my gosh, my internet's super slow. What's going on? It's hardwired. Like I got a Ethernet cable to my stupid come on. See, my computer's been doing some uploads and stuff lately and throwing me all off. And I usually use Chrome on my laptop, but I don't use this computer for anything other than projects. So this is just some of the other books that I've made, and then you can see I've made quite a few. I'm going to do a new paperback. The hardback, I haven't done any hardbacks. I'm getting pretty excited to do one. So with the cover, you want the title to be on there, like some of this extra writing should be okay, because this is just the book title right here, this extra writing, but you need to have the author. So I'm going to put that right there. Oh man, I don't know, this is going to make, I'm kind of concerned now, but that I might not have done the cover file right, but we're going to go with it anyway. How to make beaded bracelets. Here's where we'll do the subtitle. Maybe that'll, shopping with my mom, choosing colors for patterns. A step-by-step book. That's gonna be a long subtitle, but I'm gonna do it just to keep this from getting kicked back. Because whatever's edition 1. You could add it to a series. That's me. Description of the book. comprehensive guide to making simple beaded bracelets. The author is featured in the photos, guiding you through the process of making her custom beaded bracelets. God, my spelling's terrible. This book is more than a how-to. You can color and create designs right inside the book. This is a unique approach to making bracelets that Vivian thinks you are going to enjoy. Thank you for your purchase. Okay. The copyright stuff, that's all of my stuff. So I haven't had to do anything with public domain work. There's some websites that you just gotta trust that the disclaimer that the stuff's available for commercial use, like it's got to be commercial use for this. Any other kind of just rights to reuse or read, put onto social media or something like that, it's different than printed material for commercial use. So make sure it's got a commercial use release. Art, craft, kids, girls, design, business. Choosing the categories like this, you probably could put into significantly more research into to help you with the rankings and stuff like that. Like there are quite a bit of videos on how you need to do this to be the most effective that you can be with I'm gonna do business aspects, full guard outside, individual artists, subjects and themes, general, crafts and hobbies, that's probably better. Baskets, beadwork, perfect. Crafts for children, that's even more important. Yeah, that's about perfect. Adult content, no. Save and continue. What? I missed something. Oh, last name. See, I don't know if they're gonna let this fly. They're probably gonna make me redo the cover, but let's see. You get a free ISBN. So some people, I'm just look up on YouTube on videos to see if this is what works for you. You gotta buy it otherwise. This is like one of the perks that KDP uses for self-publishers, like if you're like publishing and you think that this is really going to take off and be really successful book, and you want to retain more rights to how you sell it, where you sell it, blah blah blah, you probably want to look into the more particulars of what that is. This is the ISBN. But for me, this has never been a problem. I guess none of my books has really taken off and sold a ton. Like I've never really made a ton of money or anything off of any of these, so I use them to make money elsewhere and usually make them relatively cheap or whatever. So I don't know. Maybe I'll look more into that eventually. But for now, everything that I've looked up and seen, I use premium color interior and white paper, a different size, 8.5 by 11. I do bleed only because this is if you have margins and you do a lot of pictures and you're not like, if you don't do pictures or anything and you're just doing script, maybe you just do no bleed. That would change the way that you format your PDF, format your pages and stuff like that. So that's not something that I've done since maybe like the very first time I did it on accident or something. So I always do PDF. That's the way I save them. PDF presentation, bleed. I like the pictures to be off, getting cut off by the edge of the page. I'm okay with that. Glossy. I've done the matte. The matte is pretty cool. It's pretty cool for different kinds of projects, though. I don't know. Like I would do one just to like see what it feels like, because it is cool. It can feel cheap though. It can feel like kind of luxurious or whatever. It kind of cool and kind of different for some designs, and sometimes it just feels cheap. Like if you have a real basic cover, then the matte feels pretty cheap, I think. But if you got like a lot of colors and like a really cool design cover or something like that, then the matte can be kind of cool. So I've done it on a couple. Sometimes I do glossy and a matte version. Okay, we're going to use that. I'm going to skip down here because this one loads quicker. Loading your your cover file just loads a lot faster than the insides of the book. And so remember, if you go back and make any changes, and like if I do have to come back and change this, don't save it under the same file name, because for whatever reason, I don't know why or how it does it, but if you just upload something that has the same file name, it won't change the file. How? Because it has like some sort of cache or something, caching system or something, where they just brings up the old one that you had. So that's why I do them 1.0, 2.0, or 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, something to make some sort of filing system to make the updated files different. Don't resave them under the same name. I mean, that could be a timely mistake that you don't catch that costs you time for sure. Sometimes I get these on the first try. Sometimes on these shorter books you can get it to get passed on the first try. But I always expect that something's going to come back, then I'm going to have to change something in a day or two. But when they don't, that's awesome. Some of these smaller books, it's cool because they do just go through quick the first time. But so this kind of, I'm not gonna skip this, and I'm not gonna edit this. Like, this is how much time. This is a 30 page full resolution book right here. That's about how long it took. Okay, so we're not done yet though. There's still more loading time. Like a longer if the file's more around the limit of what KDP allows, it's gonna take for my computer, which I feel is what I'm pretty confident is pretty fast. It's pretty fast. I'm sure there's other stuff that's faster, other computers that are faster, but it's pretty fast. It's above average. Like there's more to it than just a store-bought desktop. So it can take 10 minutes maybe. I guess maybe it depends on your internet connection too. Like I got my desktop. I don't use Wi-Fi. I got a long cable running down the wall that it's hooked straight to the internet, so it's as fast as possible. But you should be able to sit here for this one. It shouldn't take too much longer, and it'll come up with like a book previewer that you've got to at least click it to be able to get to the next step. You don't have to look through every page. but you have to at least click on it every time you make a change to the book while you're here or in the future or whatever. Look, there's some bracelets by Vivian right there. Okay, I'm wearing the product. Okay, one's a little bit loose, a little bit different. Okay, men can wear their daughter's jewelry. Okay, don't be such a puss. Okay, so here we go. See, I'm getting blinded. See, so right here, this is to get your template right. Like, I just do a 25-page presentation document because it's going to take 25 pages for them to look at it, for them to allow you to upload it. So then I put the lines on the paper exactly. Like I do just like this on where I think the lines are supposed to be. According, like, because so then I'll just come and put that file with the lines with my template on there and see how well it matches up with what KDPs are. So I found that when you do the artboard, when you do the pages by artboard, because I found that's the easiest way to do like centerfolds. Like, it's pretty difficult to do it any other way as far as the ways that I tried. I remember trying. If you do like one single page at a time. So the art book allows you to see both pages at once. But in the process of doing that, like, the margins are kind of funky. They're a little bit funky. So, see, that's a little bit off center. I don't care though. And I didn't. That's not intended. So, see, look, that margin was pretty good right there. See, so my margins are pretty correct right now. Centering, finding the center line on the art book style, it kind of gets off center, so like it's not true center on Photoshop. The auto align's not going to auto align it right in the center. It's going to be a little bit off because your margins are set up a little bit off center for the way that KDP reads them. And the way that they put it into, see that, I don't know how intended that was, but that's pretty consistent, I guess. It's not going to get cut off. So, fairly confident in that one. Just gonna breeze through it. Save it. So here you go. Printing cost, quid or whatever all that stuff is, yen, Aussie dollar, glossy 8.5 by 11, 30 pages, jiba. Okay. Printing cost is $3.65. That'll be relevant in the next page. Save successful. So here you go with setting the price. It tells you right here it's got to be a minimum of $6.08 for Amazon to sell it for you. That will be no profit for you or very little. So for you, that's zero profit per book. So we don't, even though this is a pretty confident that this is a pretty nice book. From market research on other beaded books, there's pretty good beaded books out there, and there's definitely a lot of people that have made a business out of doing these little bracelet jewelry kind of things. Let's see what $13.99 looks like. Let's see what expanded distribution. Let's do that for sure. But that raises up the minimum price. Okay. Doesn't change your profit, but it takes a minimum price for Amazon to do it. $13.99. That'd be $5, almost $5 a book. That'd be pretty good. Expanded distribution. This means other people can sell it, so they've got to be able to make a profit off of it that Amazon has set up for them. So that's why you have higher cost rate, but it could help the popularity of your book. $13.99. $1.55, $4 per book. Let's say that number might make a $12.99 is a pretty common book price. I'm gonna go with that. See what we're gonna do, because this is really just intended to I don't know. Let's see. This is kind of some of the books I'm making now, like I'm kind of intending to make more money on, actually use them to make money. A lot of these other ones are kind of either non-profit, pretty close to non-profit, for people I know, and like the audience is pretty small. But some of these now that I'm making are like this one right here. So like this is one of the books, one of the smaller ones. I think this is 50 pages. So the covers are beautiful, man. Like the print is pretty phenomenal. Totally happy with the prints, the print quality. Doing this, like you can make photo books, and this is some sauce right here. I'm letting you guys have some sauce. And I'm not necessarily making any money off it though. Hopefully I just get some subscribers and some views out of this. But these are legit. I do these photo books, man. If you're a wedding photographer, if you're a sports photographer, man, I got some ideas that I'm working on. These are all blank pages with graph paper and a few like small diagrams for a particular subject and a particular client that we're trying to develop that. Let's see what else I got. Okay, so like you can even get them where they got the writing on the binding. You got to have 100 pages for that to be able to do that. And this is a pretty blank cover. Okay, because this one honestly I was just trying to crank out some work. This is a wedding that I did a long time ago that I just wanted to get out. It's for a good friend of mine. So the print quality is amazing print quality. Okay, like so this is 150 pages. So look, I'm gonna drop some like huge sauce on you for this idea. This is 150 pages, 8.5 by 11. So you could do 150 8 by 10 prints. How much does 150 8 by 10 prints cost your client or you? Even just your cost, at least $2 a print. That's $300. That's $300 with the prints. And like, look, you don't have to get a photo book. You don't have to buy a stupid photo book. The photo books fall apart all the damn time. If this is big, like, man, like, I'm telling you. But the way to do it on look, like these are dark pictures. These were really dark pictures, you know, like there's not a lot of noise in the print. It's awesome. So like this is a great way for photographers to make some extra money. And like if you got the right clients, right now I don't really have the right clients, like I've said in the other video, that I could really be making. You could do well with this idea. But you could do well with this idea. Let's go back to some of the earlier books that I've done. I did a lot of football magazines and sports magazines. Sheesh, I'm not going to give you any more than that because some of this is like some straight proprietary stuff here. Alright. But that's going to wrap it up. See, it'll switch over to live right when they're live and everything like that. You can track sales. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can have your own author page at Author Central, so you can link all this stuff to your website. or not even use a website. You could do it all without even having to have your own website. So it's pretty dope. This is a pretty long video. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you made it this far, like and subscribe. Come on, man. Like, hook me up. Help me out. It's going to be, I got like 250 subscribers, man. I need to get up. My son's got more subscribers than I got. So, appreciate it. See you guys next time.